position today as a foot to hold my feet up, get my legs parallel, and just sitting up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back, close the eyes if you're comfortable, and just take a few deep breaths. Start to just center yourself. Think of in and out the nose. Somebody popped in, whoever it is, welcome. And continue to breathe, slow down the nervous system. And here's where that science comes in. We're just breathing, but we are bringing oxygen to the brain, sending all kinds of good messages to the rest of the body to slow down, center. And if you like to lengthen the breath, you can do longer inhales and longer exhales. Another option is to have a longer exhale, so that counting maybe 3 in and 4 out. I'm going to let you decide what you're called to do today. And continue breathing. I'm going to read, I think this is the last day for the yamas that I'm going to do. And we're doing that brahmacharya, which is basically non-excess. And I read about overindulgence, and I'm going to read another section of that same thing I read on Wednesday. I know not everyone was there, but it'll still make sense. So just the idea is non-excess. So you keep breathing and I'll read. We are here on this world in part to feel enjoyment and pleasure. If we are in the pleasure and not the addiction, we are practicing brahmacharya. If we are feeding our mental stories and have moved past bodily comfort, we are in addiction and out of harmony with this guideline. Non-excess is not about non-enjoyment. It actually is about enjoyment and pleasure in its fullest experience. The questions before us are you eating the food or is the food eating you? Are you doing the activity or is the activity doing you? Can you enjoy pleasure without excess? In answering these questions, we have to be able to discern between what the body needs in the moment and the story our mind is telling us. I don't know about you, but I have personally noticed that sugar, salt, and caffeine create more mind stories than lettuce does. We also must be fearless in facing our sadness, grief, and disappointments without needing to soothe them with food or sex. When I was in Nicaragua, I was able to hear the Minister of the Interior speak about the state of affairs in his country. At that time, there was a large contingent of people from the United States bringing their faith to the people of Nicaragua. Part of their evangelizing was the sharing of large tables of exotically prepared food at their gatherings. The Minister of Interior, choosing to not attend these affairs, was quick to comment on the food in this way. When the organisms in my tummy are over happy, I can't think straight. Overindulgence snuffs out the life force like too many logs on a fire overpowers the fire. Practicing non-excess, can't talk today. Practicing non-excess preserves and honors this life force within us so that we can live with clarity and sacredness. So, Michelle is, I'm going to point Michelle out. She is cleaning up her basement, which I think all of us have done, and getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And she said she's got a bunch of stuff for Goodwill. And I'm so proud she's creating herself a little yoga space. So I told her she's practicing non-excess, and she says, and I'm not done. So good job. So let's all just drop the hands to the side. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Bring the hands to the heart. stay there for a few breaths. Feel free to set an intention. I think that non-excess one we can all really relate to. So maybe think about that. Or set your own. And then opening the eyes. And if you have your feet on a cushion, you might want to take it apart because you're going to take the feet a little bit wide, or if they were on a block, toes out. Still sitting on the edge, drop the hands. Inhale the arms up. And we'll take that weave to lower. So we're jumping right in here to lower yourself all the way down. And remember, if you do need something to bring the floor closer to you, feel free. So I can use my handy dandy cushion, drop the head, just round out. And take a few breaths here and just really think about the shoulders being heavy, the head. So letting gravity do the work here. The breath feels a little different because you're upside down, but imagine that you can just take all that stress hanging on the shoulders and let it fall into the floor, into the earth. You don't need it. And then take the hands to the knees, come up halfway. We're there for a little bit, looking straight down so the neck is in line. And then press yourself up. And then a couple options. You can take the left forearm to the thigh and rolling out the shoulder. If it's comfortable, you can take your hand to the floor or your cushion. I'll use my cushion today, kind of right under the face. So either way is fine. And then you're going to take the right arm, and remember, it can go straight out. You can just feel where your shoulder allows. If it allows you to take it all the way up, beautiful. If you're 3/4, that's perfect too. And we're going to make circles with the wrist. Option to look up. If the neck doesn't feel like that, you can look down or just out to the side while you're making those wrist circles. And then reverse the direction. And then those finger flicks. So take each finger to the thumb. So pointer finger and just flick it like a little spark of energy with each finger. And then all 4 fingers to the thumb and a few sparks. Really send out that energy. And then here's where we take the figure 8s or an infinity symbol. See how big you can make your figure 8 today as you bring the arm down until you get all the way down or to the knee if that's where you are. And if you are on your knee, we're going to go back to a forward fold and round out. I'm just checking to see. Oh, Lori's in here. Good. Good morning, Lori. And then we'll switch sides. So same thing, either forearm to the right thigh or the floor or a block or cushion, whatever you're using. And the same thing. So we're going to turn to the left, take the arm where the shoulder allows, wrist circles. And reverse the wrist circle. And then the finger flicks. And then all 4 a couple of times. And then take your ginormous figure 8 or infinity. And I can just feel my shoulder kind of creaky here this morning. That's a good thing. And then come to that forward fold. So this time we're going to walk the feet in just a little bit so that you can reach down to the toes. And we're going to take the right between the long bones of the toes, and you're just going to press all the way into kind of like the webbing of the toes. And just do that for each toe, pressing. I'm using my pointer finger. Sometimes the thumb feels good. I hope this makes sense. Just a little bit of a foot massage until you get down to the pinky. And then if you can, pick up your toes on each side and just kind of give them a little pull toward you, almost like you're forcing them to flex. If your feet, I know some people have had some foot surgery, so you know what to do if it's not for you. And then release that. And then come to the hands to the knees, flat back, press into the feet, use the core to lift. And come on up. And then we're going to do just a little bit of a hand massage. So I like to make circles, or you can just do presses. So if I press into the thumb all the way up to the fingertip and almost kind of flick it off. And it's hard to demonstrate opposite. Looks like most of you have it, but give yourself good pressure, and you can squeeze in between the webs here too. That feels kind of nice. You go like even up to the top of the hand. Just giving yourself a little massage on the hands and in between. It's really nice with a little bit of oil or lotion, but I can't get that to you from here. And then do the whole thing. And then we'll switch sides. So when you finish one hand, do the other. And I don't know if I told you this. I've done this for 20 years probably. But this area right here, if you ever have a headache, and you squeeze it, and I did it on Joe yesterday. I said, give me your hand. And he had a really bad headache. And he had pain really there. And you almost have to do it to yourself if you have a headache. And then I saw, I don't know, social media probably, there's some sort of clamp that you put on, and they're selling it for like $20, that you put right there, and it's supposed to help with headaches. So you don't need that, just squeeze. All kinds of stuff. It's the energy medicine really is cool because it's talking about your body is designed to heal itself. All right, this time we're going to add a little something. We're going to take your hands and just squeeze and twist the arm all the way down to the hand. I just got a nice little pop there. And just do it a couple of times. A little self-care on a Friday. And then shake that arm out when you finish. And if you're behind me, that's fine. And then do the same thing on the other arm. Kind of, I think, helps a little bit with circulation. Nice little wake up. And just do it again. And then when you finish, just shake everything out. And then we'll do those 4 thumps. So today we'll start at the top. So we'll start at the cheekbones or the right under there and tapping. I think everyone has this now. Just a reminder, this relates to the stomach area. And if you can, try to do that breathing in the nose, out the mouth. And then we'll move, excuse me, down to the collarbone, so that little notch, and then down about an inch in the same thing. It's funny, I've started making this part of my morning routine just in the bathroom, you know, just take a few minutes. And I didn't do it the other day. And I was like, something's missing. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And it sounds so corny, but this is what it was. Beauty is you can do this anywhere, anytime. It's not like you have to do it. It's just trying to make it a routine, I think, is a good idea. And then right in the center, one finger or hand or both. Soft fist feels nice. And then take your scarecrow arms and find your side ribs, thumbs, fingers, or pressing, whichever feels good. And this is the spleen. And if you like, you can move more towards the front, the ribs. And then release the arms, just shake them out a little bit. And then take the arms, palms up on top of the thighs, close the eyes. And just take a few cleansing breaths. And then opening the eyes. So this is going to start some of the Kundalini, and it's not too wild or crazy, but one thing that I find myself, especially as a teacher, but even when I was taking yoga classes, I'd always be like, okay, that's nice. We're doing head circles. Can we move on to the poses? I want to get to the fancy stuff. And so we're going to take some time just on the neck and try to learn to slow down and not think about what the next pose is or is she ever going to move on from here. So just try to be in the moment. And the neck is so tight and we never spend enough. I guarantee you, none of us spend enough time releasing it. So it's not hard. It's just longer than you're probably used to. And all we're going to do, keep the shoulders rolled back, is drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, lift the chin. So you're not dropping the head, but just going back and forth. Inhale is the lift. Exhale, chin to chest. And take the speed that you like. Kundalini tends to move a little quicker. I'm not always super comfortable with that just in my own body, but if you feel like, oh, I could do this faster, just be gentle on yourself, but we're just going back and forth. And if I remember correctly, this kind of moves the minerals around and kind of flushes them back into the body. They get kind of stagnant or stuck at the top of the spine. And just keep going. And you know you can always stop if you think, oh, this is too much for me. You know you can stop or slow down or hold. Maybe you want to take a moment and just bring the chin to the chest and feel that stretch at the top of the spine. You decide. Take a couple more here. And then come back to center. And this time we just tilt side to side. So right ear to right shoulder and then left. So you can think of the right as an inhale and the left as an exhale. So obviously this is the side of the neck here. And this is where I think a lot of us hold a lot of tension all the way into the shoulders. So just going back and forth. And with the eyes closed, it kind of helps you go within. Sometimes people aren't comfortable with that. So you can just gaze down either way, but kind of listen. Listen to go within and listen. Like I'm feeling like I have no idea what the technical scientific term is. I call them crunchies in my neck. Kind of just, and it's not a bad feeling. It's just, I literally feel like they need to be lubricated. And that's kind of what we're doing here. And maybe if you keep going long enough, you won't hear it as much. But no pain allowed. If it hurts, either don't go as deep or just hold it or just sit still. Keep going. Yeah, whatever way you're doing it. A few more. We just don't usually spend this much time on the neck, and I think we need to because we all have tension, or even if it's physical tension, you know, like raking or working in the yard, and you go home and you tell your spouse or significant other or friend, can you rub my shoulders? It's not all just tension and stress. Okay, bring it back to center. And now we're turning to the right and then to the left. So we're kind of mobilizing in all the directions. And again, if you like to pick it up and go a little faster, feel free. That's not a good one for me because I supposedly have vertigo and balance stuff. Just kind of funny for a yoga teacher. But it's not good to go fast for me, but it might feel wonderful for you. And each time, you can even take the hand to the chin and give it a little more of a tug if you want, not a tug, a push. If you want to help yourself get a little deeper, if you feel like that's a good idea for you. I feel like I say that over and over. If it's good for you, if it feels good. But the truth is, you really do have to listen to your body. And even if we were in person, I wouldn't be able to know how this feels for you. Okay, come back to center. We're going to inhale and exhale out the mouth. So we kind of think of that like a cleansing breath and get rid of all of that kind of stuff. So I got a circle. So we're going to drop the chin to the chest, over to the left, and then you can drop the head a little bit here to the back, and then over to the right. And we're just making some circles here. And the same thing, as big as you like. I don't think you should go too quickly on this one. And if you get to a point where you're like, ooh, I'm a little stuck, or I feel some tightness there, maybe even hold it for a breath or two and see if you can release it and then move on. And remember to keep the breath nice and smooth as you do this. Next time your chin is at the chest, you can reverse the direction. And just listening to what's going on inside. You might think this is excess. I don't know. It's not, though. We're just not used to spending the time on our necks. Do one more circle, and then when you get to the chest, chin to the chest, just keep the chin down for a moment. And then opening the eyes, inhale the nose. Side out, nice cleansing breath. All right, we're going to take the hands, clasp them behind, just loosely behind the head. And we're going to take those cat-cows here. So inhaling a little bit of an arch, looking up. On the exhale, trying to bring the elbows together and pull the belly towards the spine. So the inhale is lifting, a little bit of an arch. Exhale, rounding. And pull the belly in on the round. And again, if you like to go a little quicker, you can. You probably can't hear it. I have a squeaky chair. So I'm moving a little quicker here. You decide. Take a couple more. And then your last one, just open up, really open up the elbows, looking up. Feel a nice stretch. And on your exhale, just release the hands down again. Take a couple breaths. Okay. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider. So I've done the hip circles. In Kundalini, they call it the Sufi grind, and it's a little different. You keep your chin level as we're making the circles, and you think of leading with your belly. So I lean to the side. Here the belly is soft. I lean to the right. And then as I start to circle back, I'm pulling the belly towards the spine. So really activating that. And then relax it when you're forward and trying to keep the chin level. So this one I don't like to do too quickly because I haven't mastered it, I suppose. But I'm really focusing on really scooping out, pulling the belly towards the spine, and relax it. So it's kind of like a squeeze and release. Really good for digestion. And you can almost think of the circles being led by the belly button, which is a little different concept to think about. And take one more, and then we'll reverse the direction and do the same thing. So we're still working the hips and the hip creases here, but thinking more about that squeeze and release idea. So remember, belly soft forward, pulls towards the spine when you pull back. Let's take one more circle. Come on up. Bring the feet back to hip width apart, sitting up nice and tall. Take a nice breath. We're going to do another cat-cow here, but the hands are on top of the thighs, and this time we do lift the chin. So we're going to lift up and then rounding. So similar to that movement we just did with the hands behind that back, but also think, again, lead with the belly. So it's soft, and when you round, pull it in. And this one you can move quicker if you like. Another good one for digestion. I might have mentioned before, if you had a giant breakfast, this may not be the best thing to do. So you'll know. Take a couple more. Okay, and then come back to center. Take a breath. All right, we've done leg lifts, but this is a little bit different. So you're still on the edge of the chair. You're going to kind of hang on to the back and then lean back on your chair. So you're kind of at a diagonal with the upper body, and all you're going to do is lift your right leg, mostly straight, and then your left. So this is good for circulation and varicose veins. You're using your core to lift the leg and go back and forth a few times. And if you like to go a little slower, you can. Just play around with different options. So a lot of this they do on the floor, and I'm adapting it to the chair, which I kind of like, actually. I have to tell you all, I keep going. I didn't think I would enjoy chair yoga as much as I have, and I'm finding it to be just as beneficial as a mat class. Not that I have any problem with a mat class, but those of you that know me pretty well, I'm a pretty creative person, and if I can't get those creative juices going, I go stir crazy. All right, lower that and then come back up. So it's been fun for me to find fun, hopefully creative ways to share yoga with you on a chair and make it accessible to everybody. All right, this one is kind of funny, but we're going to do a forward fold. So I know some of you don't love the fold on the knees, on the thighs, but we're going to just do it for a little bit. And I want you to think as we fold forward of lifting so it's like placing the belly first, then the chest, and then the head. So a nice thing to do is grab right under there and pull the belly up so that you can lay it on your thighs, and then the chest, and then the head falls, and the arms just hang alongside the body. So the breath feels differently here. It's almost as if you're breathing into the back of the heart. So as you inhale, feel how it even spreads the shoulder blades a bit. On your exhale, you sink a little bit deeper. So take a couple really deep inhales here and just notice how you feel. It is different. It is compression. And it's another one that's really good for your digestive tract. And if you feel strong enough, keep the arms heavy and start to lift the shoulders. As you rise up, the belly or the chest comes off the thighs, the belly comes off the thighs until you come up all the way. And you can just place the hands on the thighs. Take a breath. So even if you do a standing forward fold and you want to lift up and think about that, it gives you more room to fold. All right. This is kind of, they call it painting the aura. So we're going to take the hands to our sides, palms out. And this is going to give your arms a nice workout. And you're going to bring the arms overhead, not touching. Turn the palms out and come down. Turn the palms out and lift up. So you're just going back and forth pretty quickly. And again, if you can't go up that high, just go where maybe 60 degrees and come down. So just feel what you think you can do. I took a couple classes with this one woman, and she would do this for like 3 to 8 minutes. I promise you we're not going that far. And you know, you think you're strong. It was very humbling because I thought my arms were going to fall off or maybe burn off. But it was pretty amazing that people could do that. And they also sing and chant while they're doing this. And it was uncomfortable for me at first, but then it's like, this is kind of cool because I'm singing. I'm not thinking about my arms. So I'm talking to you so you don't think about your arms. We're going to go for, I'm aiming for a minute-ish. I'm not sure. If you get tired, you can rest, but see if you can push on. If it hurts, don't do it. But they call it painting the aura, so you can kind of see how that would make sense. It's like you're making a little bubble for yourself. And don't let any of the yuck in. Keep going. I'm feeling tired. I'm creating heat. So once I see you guys start to get tired, I'll stop. Just kidding. Couple more. See if you can do it. And then bring the hands, palms up. Feel that energy. Close the eyes. And then open the eyes and just shake everything out. All right, we're staying on the chair almost the whole class. There's a couple things, but we're gonna sit back on the chair and you're gonna take the right leg to the side and you're gonna straighten out the left leg. So you kind of have to adjust yourself. So your right thigh is on the chair and the back leg is, it's like a lunge. So the toes are up, trying to get it as straight as possible. And then your hips and shoulders are facing the right side of your chair. Hope I'm making sense. So the left hand and the right hand, they're kind of framing the thigh on your chair. And I have to come up on my fingertips just because I don't know, your arm length. But what I want to do is try to be upright. So you could think of it as almost like a modified pigeon or just a lunge pose, but roll the shoulders back and see if you can lift the chin. So not dropping the head, but just lifting the chin up. Straighten the left leg. Your right foot is bent. Take a few breaths.
You're going to have to modify for me.
Okay.
I can't.
You could take your foot, bend your knee, so right under the hip. Thank you, Michelle. I always forget to tell people. You can bend your knee. Does that work better?
Yes.
Okay. So anybody else, if you have knee issues, so you could just take the hip or the knee right under the hip and bend the knee. So I'll hold that pose either way.
Oh, yeah, much better.
Good. Thank you. And keep breathing. And then drop the chin to the chest. Keep the shoulders back. And then lift the head. And we're going to come to the chair for that a goddess warrior before we switch to the other side. So you can stay back on the back of the chair or the middle of the chair, feet are wide. Sitting up tall, cactus arms or goddess warrior. Spread out the fingertips. Press the elbows back. Pull the belly in. So I tend to arch, so I have to tell myself the same to try to have a straight back. So we're not looking to do an arch with the back. Press the elbows a little more.
Ooh.
And then bring the hands to the heart. Lower the hands, and then we'll switch sides. So this time the left leg or thigh is kind of draped over the chair. The right leg, so if you're going to do the variation, you can have the knee right under the hip. You're still on the ball of the toes. Or if you like, I'll do the straight version this time, like a lunge. So leg is straight. I know my chair is hiding it. Hands frame the front leg, or you can come to the fingertips if you need to. Roll the shoulders back and look up. Lifting the chin. Breathing. So you can, there's always another variation of or a way of doing this. You can always arch. If you like to do the arch, you'll feel a pinch in the low back. If you like to do that, otherwise just hold it here and focus on keeping the shoulders level. And then next time you exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Take a breath there. And then lift the head. And we'll do that goddess pose again. Because we're all goddesses. Open up the fingertips, lots of energy. Press the elbows back. Pull the belly in. And smile. You're on candid camera. And then bring the hands to the heart. Lower the hands and then just kind of get yourself back. And I want to take that forward fold again. So feet are about hip width apart. We're going to take that belly, lift the belly, place it on the thighs, then the chest, round the shoulders, drop the head, and just hang. Take a few breaths here. Excuse me. And then if you feel strong enough, we're going to roll up. If you don't, your hands go to the knees and you press yourself up. Otherwise, the arms are heavy. Start with the shoulders. Lift the chest off the thighs. Use your core to lift you. Pull the belly off the thighs. When you get straight up, inhale the arms up. And down to the heart. Close the eyes a moment and just take a breath. Notice how you're feeling. And then opening the eyes again. Oh my goodness. I always look at the clock and I don't have enough time. All right, we are going to do the figure 4 pose. So if you're able, you're going to take the right ankle to the left knee. If that's not available, you can just cross the ankle over the knee. You could take a block, or in this case, I could take a cushion and kind of just open it out so you get a nice, if that feels like a stretch. And the same thing on a block. There's all the different levels you can take it. So take the one that works for you. And you're on the edge of the chair. The right foot is flexed, and just a gentle pressure onto that right thigh. And hopefully you're feeling it on the outside of the right thigh. And each time you exhale, see if you can just give a little bit of a press, just a stretch. Using the breath. And then here we're going to do that same thing where we lift up the belly. We're going to place it down the shoulders. And if you can, just hanging, drop the head, hang over the leg. And if you can't go that far, just go halfway. Just go where your body allows, not forcing. But you should feel a pretty deep stretch in that outer right hip. If you don't, let me know. Is there anyone who's not feeling it? No one's going to own up to it. This is a pretty intense stretch. So this is one, it's a good one to hold and to release. You'll notice this is another place that we carry our emotions, actually. I think you've heard me say it before, but if you teach a hip class and the whole hour is focused on the hips, and people start crying, you'll know you've done some releasing. It happens. Each exhale maybe takes you just slightly deeper or more of a release. Hang on to that nice full breath. Use that to help you release. And then gently, the same thing, lift the shoulders, the chest, and then the belly off the thighs. Come up slowly because you've been there for a bit. And then just lower the leg very gently. Take that exhale out the mouth. So inhaling, just let it all out. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the other side. Whatever we do to one side, we've got to do the other. So take a modification or that variation if you like. Both sides are not going to feel the same. So maybe one you can get up and the other you can't. So use any of those different variations. And when you get there, you're just gently pressing on that thigh. So for example, I can get my foot up here, but this one's super tight for some reason. Not sure why, but it is. And then we'll take that fold. So again, take the belly, lift it up, place it on your thighs, the chest, and then drop the head. And we'll hold this pose for a few moments. Use the breath. So use the breath to calm you. So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, is she ever going to get us out of this pose? Think in a different way. Think, oh, every time I exhale, I'm going to try to feel a little release. Or even thinking about, ease. Every time I breathe, I find a little bit more ease in this pose. Sort of change the mindset. Easier said to done, I know. Easier said than done. But using the breath to help release the muscles. Couple more breaths. Find some ease and calm. And then slowly, same thing. Shoulders, chest, belly. Come up slowly, slowly, slowly. Lower the leg. And just place the hands on top of the thighs. Roll the shoulders back. Close the eyes. And just take a moment to receive the practice that you've done. And then I've become an unintentional liar because we're almost done and I didn't get to any of the standing poses. So I didn't mean to do that, but that's where we are today. Inhale the arms up. And we're just going to rotate to the right and open the arms up. Inhale back to center. And then open to the left. Inhale back to center. To the right. Back to center. To the left. One more time. Over to the right. And this time, right hand goes to the back of the chair. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. And you may deepen the twist if you need to, looking over the right shoulder. You can throw a little eye yoga in there and look even further. Open the eyes wide. Look further to the right, further than your shoulder. And then just slowly unwind yourself. And we'll inhale the arms up, over to the left. So same thing, left arm in the back of the chair, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Deepen the twist as much as you need. Open the eyes wide and look further with the eyes. And then inhale, come back to center. It is time for Shavasana. So I'm going to play around with the music while you find a spot that's good for you to be still. We'll give this music thing a try again. So just find a spot, either seated, laying on the floor, legs up on the chair, or a wall if you like. Lay down on the floor, whichever pose you like. And now it's not playing. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so you're going to find a spot that you can be completely still in, that you don't have to move. Let go of your the working breath, so you're just relaxed. Relaxed breath here. And breathe naturally. So do your own scan today. Take a scan of your body. Is there any place that's still tight, or you just feel you need a little more release? You can even, if you have one more stretch that you'd like to do, you can take that. And now, thank you for playing. So just go inward. Let go of everything. And I will bring you back with the sound of the bell. So keeping the eyes closed, just listen to your body. What needs to move first? Maybe you need a stretch. So you decide today what needs to be woken up again. We always do the fingers, the toes, the ankles, and the wrists, but maybe in the head. Maybe you need to roll the shoulders, or maybe there's something else that needs to be moved or stretched. So just take a few moments, wake yourself back up. And whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself up to a seated position, chair or on the floor. If you want to stay in Shavasana for the next 2 hours, feel free. Always an option. But when you get there, start to deepen the breath, transitioning back into your space, back into the day and the weekend. And then wherever you are, drop the hands to the side. Turn the palms out and inhale goodness, light, peace, joy, happiness, everything that's good for you, and bring it all right into your heart. And if you set an intention, bring that back into your heart as well. And let it be a part of you, part of your being. And thank you all for being here. And I wish each of you health, happiness, and peace. Namaste. Okay, so we're just going to
Namaste.
practice